Hi, welcome back to Beyond the Pages. We're meeting with Chalmers Carr right now at Titan Farms. Tell me about Titan Farms. How big is this property?
Well, Titan Farms is the largest peach farm in South Carolina. In fact, we're the second largest individual producer in the country.
Wow.
But it didn't start out that way.
Okay.
My wife and I bought this farm. Well, we leased it in '99. And then in 2001, we were able to buy the farm. And then we've grown it from 1,500 acres of peaches to now just a little over 5,000 acres of peaches. We've added 700 acres of vegetables in spring and the fall, so 700 annually. And we grow bell pepper and broccoli. So we're the largest grower of peaches, bell pepper, and broccoli in the state of South Carolina.
And when you say the largest, is that volume, quantity?
It's acreage and volume.
Acreage
of
and
those
volume. Okay.
Yeah.
And for those of us who are acreage impaired, how many miles would that translate
Oh, goodness.
to?
I don't know how you translate it to miles, but from tip to tip of the farm, we farm 19 miles from one end to the other. But it's not 19 square miles, obviously.
Okay.
But and the building we're sitting in here is the central headquarters, and it's
Okay.
actually right in the middle of the property. So
Okay.
we go from almost Batesburg, South Carolina, all the way to Trenton with Highway 25. So we stretch along this what we call the ridge area in South Carolina, where a lot of peaches are grown.
Okay.
In fact, about 80% of the state's production comes from this area.
Right, absolutely. What is your business model? How are you organized? Are you incorporated?
We are incorporated. It's a family business, and we have several corporations within that. My wife and I own the businesses together. And so as we've grown, we've learned how to, in business there's many different challenges. And so obviously you got to look at a liability standpoint and everything else like that, asset management again. And at some point in time you got to start thinking about, transfer of, ownership or what you're going to do. When you build a small family business into a large family business, one of the things that a lot of people have not done correctly is thought about it soon enough is what is the next generation, how are they going to take over?
Mm-hmm. Well, tell me about your thoughts there.
That's an interesting one. I've told my children that do not plan on Titan Farms being here for them, although that's just, I wanted them, and they kind of know my rule that they'll have to go out and work somewhere else and after school, and then if the opportunity's here and they're deserving of it, then there might be an opportunity for them. But I don't think it should be a rite of passage.
No entitlements here.
Exactly. And I didn't have that, so.
What is the future of a family-owned farm?
Right now it's very prosperous. We're excited about where we're at in the peach industry. There has been, I won't just say in South Carolina, but there's been a shift in the country as well. As you were, probably heard that there's droughts in California and stuff like that. And California is the #1 producing state. South Carolina is the #2. But also it goes back to taste. Consumers have started to value taste in their products, and they realize that South Carolina peaches eat better than peaches from, say, California,
okay.
That are shipped 3,000 miles over here. So with the population being on the East Coast, our proximity to that population, I really think our prosperity in the peach business is very good.
That's fantastic. Tell me what this facility looks like at full capacity when everything's humming and the peaches are ready. What does it look like around here?
A swarm of bees, how about that? Give you a typical day, and it'll actually be in about 4 weeks from now or 3 weeks. Our busiest week of this year will be July 5th to July 12th. And we'll have 165 employees in here in this facility working here. And during that 1 week, they'll package over 200,000 boxes of peaches and bell pepper in 1 week. So that's going to be quite a challenge. That's really, and we do it 6 days a week, so you're looking at 35,000 packages. Turn that into truckloads. We're going to be shipping out of here 120 truckloads of just peaches, and then pepper, probably another 40 or 50. So 160 tractor trailers coming in and out of here in 1 week. And we'll kind of keep that pace for 4 or 5 weeks in the month of July and really the second week in August. But just beyond here, then there's also 300 people out in the fields working.
Okay, tell me about your workforce.
My workforce is H-2A. That's one thing, and immigration has been a very important thing to me. I've gone through the 86 immigration reform that we did in this country, where we actually gave amnesty to a lot of workers here. They were here illegally at the time. Then immigration reform came up again in '98. But when I took over the business, I realized that one thing that we had here is we probably had a compliance issue with our workers being legal. So in 1999, I decided, when I rented the farm, I decided to go in the H-2A program, which is a government work program which allows us to bring in foreign workers when there's not enough domestic workers here to do the jobs. We started out with 100 of those workers in '99. This year we'll bring in right at 500, a little bit less than last year. Last year we had 540. But the reason for that is a little bit of the freeze damage, kind of took a little bit of the workforce need off. But still, we'll bring in 500 workers into here, we'll house them, we'll transport them, and they come back to us every year. This year, right now, I think we have 420 workers here, and there's only 5 new. everybody else has worked here in previous years. And that speaks well for all my management team and what they do in taking care of their employees, but also means the employees enjoy coming here and working with us.
Do you have any wishes when it comes to immigration reform? Thoughts on where it should go?
Very much so. First and foremost, we need to get it resolved. We've been talking about it way too long. Really, the current debate that we're having today actually started in 1998. So you think about that, almost 15 years ago, 16 years ago. 2006, I actually got to visit the White House when President Bush was in the White House, and I represented agriculture. Thought we had a good chance of getting immigration reform done then. Since then, I've testified several times before Congress and 2 times in the last couple of years. Helped negotiate the Senate bill last year, which I think is a good bill, comprehensive. A lot of people don't like comprehensive bills, but I negotiated the ag portion of it. I think it's a very good bill for agriculture, but it could use improvement. We just need the House of Representatives to move. They have yet to pass any meaningful, serious legislation in some time. And we keep on sending the message that even if you do it in small bills, let's get this done. And I mean, I've got to commend, if you look at our leadership here in South Carolina, even though we have some very young House of Representative members, with Trey Gowdy taking the lead a couple years ago, now with him on Benghazi, Mick Mulvaney is stepping up to take the immigration torch. Sitting down and talking with both of them in a very personal nature, they understand it, they get it from all aspects, and they understand that it will help our country economy grow in the state. But we've got to deal with the problem and just can't keep passing it down the road. I don't know how long somebody can know the issue's there, everybody tell you it's broken, but nobody's willing to fix it.
Right.
So the message is clear and simple. We need to fix it. We need to get it right, because once you do it, you won't touch it again for quite some time.
Okay.
And so I hope they'll do that.
What are some of the other challenges that you face that other agribusinesses may also face?
Well, you've definitely got water issues that are
Okay.
coming up. And when I say that, is just as population grows, and this is a resource, who owns the resource, who has access to the resource, how do you manage that resource? South Carolina's been very good to make sure that agriculture is a priority. So they understand that. They understand having the farmers have the ability to have water to produce the crops to feed not only South Carolinians but Americans all across, and we export as well. So I think that's very important, but understanding water issues are going to be some of the big issues coming forward in front of everybody.
Okay. Are there any other economic variables weighing on your production line?
Economic variables is always the economy.
Okay.
Now, farming, you look at farming in a lot of different ways. I grow specialty crops, peaches. I grow something that you consume, generally with little processing done to it all. Picked straight off the tree or the bush, if you will, washed but not sliced and diced, not anything further done to it. So it's a perishable commodity. So when you look at that, it's all how's the economy doing? How are the people feeling? Do they have disposable income? Or is there constraints on their pocketbook? So when you looked at 2010 or 2009, when we actually were probably in the bottom of the recession, peaches, they don't have to have them. So you understand, bell pepper's a little bit different. It's kind of a staple item, but peaches is a luxury food in some respects. So if your pocketbook's tight, you may not have that. So that is definitely one that we have to watch. That's probably one of our biggest challenges, is you never know where you're going to be at.
Right.
And these economies here lately they're right on the edge of whether they're going up or down. You never know. So that's one that we probably have to watch. That more so, a lot of people have talked about agriculture in the last 3 or 4 years has had a big boom. And that may be true for the row crops, the traditional farmers, cotton, corn, soybeans, peanuts, and all that. But specialty crops really haven't been that way, because we're just coming out of the recession, where a lot of those are commodities that have gone into other sources, further processed, whether it's feed and or even food as well. But when you're looking at a perishable commodity, we haven't had those same years. So it's kind of difficult even when I get in a room with a convention with farmers and go, well, we got to be careful. We've had really good years, and I'm wanting to go, wait a second, let's not lump us all together.
Yeah.
But still, it's not complaining at all. I think the opportunities are there, and I think the economy is going in the right direction. So if that continues to improve, like I said, I think we've got a good future.
Brilliant. So what are some of the other issues that the South Carolina Chamber of Commerce, as the unified voice of business, can help you address?
Right now, I think this state is in desperate need of some processing, further processing of these commodities that I'm talking about.
Okay.
We also need links to create a system within our state to help support smaller farmers, mid-sized farmers to move their products.
Okay.
We've got great soils here. We have a state that understands labor, because this was originally a tobacco state in El Cepiche, so there's always been labor. You've got tomatoes and cucumbers grown down towards the coast. So this state understands labor in producing crops that require labor. So if we can start looking at how we can better help our farmers transition into these type of crops, and market. That's what you get out here. Jets flying over. But no, just so how the chamber can help agriculture develop. Because if you look around the states next to us, we're actually kind of small in the ag. If you look at Georgia to the south of us and even North Carolina to the north of us, they are much larger ag states. But yet we have the land, we have the resources, we have the know-how. Marketing is probably one of our biggest challenges.
Okay. What's next for Titan Farms?
Titan Farms, we're going to continue to grow. We're leveling off in our acreage, but when we say we're going to continue to grow, we're always going to be looking at new commodities that we can grow. And then more importantly, we're going to be looking at processing, just as I mentioned. One of our biggest things that we have here is we create a lot of waste. And this is product, as you sell peaches to the chain stores, they want, and the consumers want, best peaches. You know, no softs, no rub marks or anything like that. They want it to be pristine, perfect. Well, obviously you can't get every peach to be that way. So we generate some waste, and generally our waste is somewhere about 25% of what we harvest. So that product right now is just being disposed on the farm, basically composted. But we're looking at ways that we can turn that into a revenue source. One of the things would be as you look at juices. If you know, sodas are going down in consumption, and juices are going up in consumption. So whether we could do a peach nectar or a peach puree to be an ingredient to other things. So we're actually got 2 research projects going on this summer here on the farm with that, and we hope that we'd be in the processing business in about 2 years and doing something with that waste and take our, you know, when we talk about waste, we're talking about 14 million tons, you know. So how do we reduce that footprint and turn it into a viable solution for us? And we think we're right on the cusp of it.
That's fascinating. Well, any last words for our readers?
No, just know that we love South Carolina. We're proud of South Carolina. We're proud to be a business owner here in South Carolina. And, you know, we think it's a lot of opportunity. I've lived here now for 20-something years. Couldn't think of living anywhere else. And we just love growing up in this area and this community and being a part of this industry.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us.